Look at that graphic. The days are slowly approaching to Iowa. The moderates and the progressives, they're making their caucus plans as the Iowa caucuses approach.
We're back with Assistant Professor of Political Science at Howard University and Independent Women's Forum Senior Policy Analyst Patrice Onwuka.
Two great friends of the show. All right, guys, it's great to see you. We have an interesting new report out this morning, and I think generally kind of expected, which is that the Joe Biden campaign has approached the Amy Klobuchar campaign about a caucus alliance. So the way that this works, I want to hammer this home here on the show, so I'm sorry the regular viewers are annoyed at hearing it, but it's interesting, which is that the way the caucuses work is there's a first alignment. So on that, you go, you support whoever you want. In these, I think it's 2,700 precincts in Iowa. If you do not hit 15% in that precinct, Niambi, then you're kind of disbanded and you get to go wherever you want.
Right.
So second choice becomes very important. And according to some of the polling that we have just yesterday, Amy Klobuchar is at 9% in Iowa. It's very conceivable that 9% of people, if she has an alliance with Biden, that might be enough to put him over the top. What do you think about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing about these sort of successive rounds of voting and realignment really create a process where a person who may not be the first choice can actually win. So it could be for the second and third placers to be able to kind of work together to rig the outcome. And I don't want to say rig,
no,
it's totally
not.
legal, but it's certainly
when,
strategy.
This is when all the deals start to get struck, right, Patrice? Because at the same time, you've got guys like Yang and Tulsi who are maybe 5% of the vote.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overwhelmingly second choice there is all Bernie. But then you've got Amy Klobuchar. Even Elizabeth Warren is only at like 13% right now. If she gets disbanded, I mean, that's who the hell knows where all that vote is going to go. So, I mean, it actually is one of these things where we do not know who's going to win the Iowa caucus.
Well, it's interesting because months ago we talked about Joe Biden's strategy going into Iowa, and the campaign was saying, oh, it's not a big deal. We're actually putting our money on Super Tuesday. Now we see they really have been taking Iowa seriously.
Yes.
And who they're targeting is what is also interesting. They're trying to get Hispanics to turn out to vote. They're trying to get minorities, veterans. I even hear they're having nuns write handwritten letters to Catholics to get these guys out to vote in the caucus rather than just traditional full election voters, because that's what they tend to be. So I think it's interesting if the Klobuchar voters go to Biden. And people are saying maybe this is like her VP, potential VP, floating her as a VP, but the Biden-Biden-Klobuchar ticket would add nothing. And it would be just a sign. It's establishment.
Snooze fest.
Right, and the problem, Niambi, for Biden and Klobuchar's plan, let's say they do come up with a plan, is that they're not generals on a field of battle. These are people who have their own minds. And so they could learn, okay, Klobuchar prefers that I make my second choice Joe Biden. Guess what? I don't like Joe Biden. So I'm not going to do that.
I supported Amy in the first place.
And they're not wedded.
They probably used to be Elizabeth Warren if they're with Klobuchar now. There's like, why would you leave Joe Biden? It's like he's the same dude. And so if Amy's not viable, then they could just easily go over to Pete Buttigieg or Elizabeth Warren, and they're not under any orders. And the same with Tulsi and Yang people. Those are independent thinkers, by the definition of the fact that they're supporting. And they're also in conversation with their neighbors.
You're exactly right.
And that's part of
what this is that actually, so Crystal highlighted this in the poll yesterday. Emerson asked Yang people, who's your second choice? They said Sanders. Who is that after that? They'll leave. They don't even want to stay.
And that's the thing, they're not under any obligation to stay for the multiple rounds. And they're certainly not pledged because they can do whatever they want to do. And I think that's a really important thing about caucuses is that you have to get the folks in the room energized to get their neighbors, their colleagues to come over with you, and that could go to anybody.
And let's remember too, Nevada is also a caucus state, so it's not. So the first and third, it's only the only primary is right there in New Hampshire, and that's the first time that we're not going to see second choice really matter here. It's very interesting. I mean, I think that right now what we're seeing is that Andrew Yang in particular, he's kind of making his last stand in Iowa. He's got like not last stand. He's got 17-day bus tour in the state. We don't really know because we haven't had any great polls out of that. I mean, it's interesting, Patrice, because he's also doing quite well in New Hampshire, and it's what we need to look at there is that second choice, because if he were to drop out and doesn't see the bump that he needs, or if he's going to stay, what his voters might do. What do you think?
I mean, maybe they'll latch their wagon to maybe to Warren. I don't know. I mean, I think he's such an outlier.
Probably Bernie, but beyond that, we really don't know.
Maybe Bernie, but I don't think Yang has been a socialist or fully embraced the entire socialism platform.
But it's not. It's less about the platform and more about who you're opposed to.
Exactly. Right.
That is
really
and also, and if that charisma that he has carries over to his voters in those rooms, right?
Oh,
if he can get those folks to sort of sell his message, I think he could actually do some things in these caucuses.
Right.
But for sure, he matters somehow. I just don't think we know how to figure out.
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to drop out.
Absolutely.
He's got oceans of money. The guy can last. He really does. I mean, he's got a lot. He's got almost more money than Joe Biden does. And no, I mean, he really could blow it all out. I'm rooting for him in a way. Like, I'd love to see him up on the stage. But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you joining us. Tomorrow on Rising, we're going to dive into the latest in the Democratic healthcare debate. Philip Longman-Will, he's going to be here.
And author Michael Lind profiles his new book, New Class War.
We'll see you guys later.
See you there.